We are happy to bring in our first guest of the day, Pam Ostrander. She is the author for A Mask for Molly, because we all know that this is a difficult time, not only for adults, but especially for children. So, Pam is a former educator who also wrote a book. Pam, thank you for being with us on the show.
You're welcome. It's good to see you, Ronnie.
And I should mention as well that we're happy that you brought in one of your former students who helped you on this book, Seth Pennington. But if we can start the interview off with you, Pam, tell us about the book.
Well, this is the book. It's called A Mask for Molly. The doll is actually Molly, not the girl. The girl is Eve. But Eve, throughout the book, projects her emotions onto the doll. It's her only friend through the pandemic because she can't go to preschool. She doesn't get to see her other friends. So if she's scared during the story, she'll tell Molly, I'll protect you. Or if she's feeling happy, she'll be like, look at that, Molly. And so anyway, that's the characters. Eve is a 5-year-old girl who is fresh into the pandemic, and everything in her world has changed. She has her parents working from home. Her dad is actually, can you find the illustration for the baby's room? The dad is actually working from the baby's room. And I think kids can relate to those little things about the book because a lot of parents are working from home right now. So she's confused about what it all means. First, she's told she can't go to the farmer's market with her mom, and that really upsets her. It's one of her favorite things to do. And she's curious what it means because her mom says it's not safe. So when you tell children something's not safe, you don't really tell them, explain what it is. Sometimes they draw their own conclusions. What in their past has been not safe. So then her next big disappointment is comes later in the book. But she tries to cheer herself up and Molly by looking forward to her grandma's birthday. And her grandma is one of her favorite people in the world. She's a big part of her life, but she hasn't been able to see her. And finally she gets to see her. She's telling her doll all about the big party they're gonna have, what they do every year. And then she also is told, no, we can't see grandma, it's not safe. And so throughout the book, she does have just different disappointments, and she keeps trying to rally back. And finally, she just tells her dad, you know, me and Molly have had it with COVID. Tell me about this scary thing. What is it, a bad guy? Is it a monster? And her dad's like, no, it's, and he tells her foremost that she is safe. And truly, that's all you need to tell kids at that age. Yes, you can tell them it's, you know, a virus that can lead to people getting sick. You can tell them that and relate to their own doctor's visits. But it's just meant to give kids a voice. Because parents, adults everywhere are getting used to their new world too. So they don't often think about what it looks like from a kid's point of view. So I've worked with kids long enough to know what their point of view is, and they see things differently. And I'm on leave from my job this year.
So, and Pam, with that, I love that you wrote this book, and it's so relevant and needed during this time. But give us a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been in education in various forms for the last 35 years plus. I have a child development degree. I've taught preschool, pre-kindergarten. I was a director of a very large daycare. I was guest teacher for 10 years. Like, I took time off to have my 3 kids, and then I got back into the classroom. And in Williamston, I'm known as Mrs. O. And if I don't recognize a student, then I think, oh, they must go to the private school. So Seth was in my class when he was in 3rd grade. I had a long-term subbing position in there. So that's how we first got to know each other. And I realized what a cool kid he is. My most recent position is a reading and math interventionist. So I help the kids that are struggling kindergarten through 5th grade. And this year that role looked a little different. And so I opted to take a year leave, and instead I'm helping a set of twin 5th graders and 2 2nd graders to help navigate school virtually, and also provide some supplemental learning experiences for them.
Oh, so many kids need that right now.
They do.
With that, I will say, Seth, when your former teacher calls you up and says, "Hey, can you illustrate a book for me?" What was your first reaction?
Yeah, I was a bit taken back by it. I was like, I've never done anything like this big or major before. And
But Seth, how old are you now?
I'm 14 right now.
Oh my gosh, bless your heart. You're so cool. This is going to look awesome on your resume, by the way, when you get older.
Yeah, I was shocked, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's start doing it.
So she gives you the book, and do you just love to draw? What is your background in this?
Yeah, I've been drawing since I was a kid. I've been kind of doodling in a way, but also kind of doing more comic books in a way. But when she told me to do a children's book, I was like, well, that's not really what I do, but I'll give it a shot. And I'm kind of glad the way it turned out.
So tell us about the process. What was it like for you?
Well, first I had to do different sketches and drawings, and I had to think of what kids would want in a book, because they wouldn't want just normal humans. So I had to make it big, bright, and colorful, give them big expressions. And so I showed the first illustration to Mrs. O, and so she was taken back by it. And so
I jumped up and down is what he means.
And so, yeah, after that, I kept doing each one and showing her, and so she was glad.
And so with that, Mrs. O, when you saw what he produced along with your words, your reaction?
Oh my gosh, if you interviewed my family, they would attest to every single illustration. I would physically jump up and down, like probably repeatedly, and go around showing everybody, because he'd text it to me, what do you think of this? And I would send him all these memes of people doing backflips. And honestly, after he drew the first Eve, I couldn't picture her any other way but that. And
so you knew you had it, right? Yeah.
I didn't give him real specific things. In fact, if you looked at the storyboard, it
didn't show a whole lot. No.
It was horrible. It was a mess, a real mess, like stick figures with bubbles above their heads. And I just, that's how I work. I've never written a book before. So it was paper and pencil, and a 4-month process of editing and re-editing, revising, and coming to what we have now. And the process was very fun. And truthfully, at the end, it was rather rushed because I wanted to get it out while it was still relevant. I really felt the need to connect to the kids that I hadn't been with, and that all those kids out there that weren't able to go to school or see their teachers. So yeah, we just said, forget it to the hardcover. We can get over that and just get the paperback book out to reach people quicker.
So before we get to the distribution side, I do want to ask you, have you written a book before?
No, I never had. I've told stories. All my nieces and nephews are like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And my son, Danny, I told him I was going to write a book, and he's just like, of course you are. Like, how are you not surprised when you do this?
But you do it, you write it. What is the process?
A lot of erasers. Well, it started out a lot longer, and I ended up cutting it just because kids don't need a lot of words. And also, once his illustrations were coming along, I'm like, I don't need to explain this in detail anymore. Like we were just talking about before we got on air, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And when he shows the character with a big exclamation mark above her head and her arms in the air. I don't need to describe it completely. I can say she's doing a jumping dance-like move. But those are the kind of things that we talk about when I do the readings to kindergarten and young fives that I've been doing on Zoom. It's a process where we talk about the book along the way. What do you think she's feeling if she looks like this? What about this? What does this mean? What do you think? And so they really do have to explore the emotions and go through that. And I don't know, they've been really engaged. I read to a 3-year-old, my 3-year-old nephew, and he was engaged the whole time. His eyes were just like this. And so that's the target audience, is the really young ones.
Pam Ostrander with us here on the MegaCast. She is the author of A Mask for Molly, but also Pam is a longtime educator, and she brought one of her former students, Seth Pennington, along for this journey of writing her very first book, and he was the illustrator with that. And I will say, Pam, when it comes to actually, you have the thought, then you put it, pen to paper. Now you have it illustrated. What does it take to actually get it in book form and get it to the public?
Well, it takes an angel like Natalie Pennington, his mom. She's also an artist, and she offered to do the design elements, and she's very good technically, so she was able to put it in the PDF format, add some design to it, and it just popped. I mean, yeah, we worked together, the 3 of us, quite often, and we would change things. And the designs on the page that she would do, she made like the big bright letters, like the cherries, like big like that. And she knew what kind of font would look best. She's done this before with other books. His father is a illustrator, but I didn't want him. I wanted the kid. So it is quite a process. I learned a lot along the way. There was a lot of frustrating first time things that I had to go through, as far as things that aren't in my comfort zone with technology and getting the ISBN numbers. And we did also partner with Nicole Schaefer to make the masks. And kids always have liked having matching outfits with their dolls. So why not normalize masks and have a matching mask for your doll or your stuffed animal? And so that's been kind of fun seeing how that's grown. And after people read the book, then they want to buy the masks.
And so what is the process? Do you have a website? Are you selling these books to the general public or to schools? What's the back end of this?
I just listed it on eBay yesterday. Prior to that, I have a Facebook, Pam Ostrander LLC Facebook, and there's an order form on there. I'm selling it at the Studio Shop in Williamston. They actually have it displayed in their window, which I love. So I'm just now in the last 2 weeks getting orders from people I don't know. And I've shipped it to 8 different states. A lot of people are buying 3 or 4 of them, and then they're donating them to their area elementary schools or their libraries, which makes me really happy that they're getting out there. And so I'll also be doing some Zoom readings from different people in the country too.
This is just great that you've done this and taken your talents to try to explain this, because even as adults, we don't understand it. So how do you explain it to kids and still make them feel safe as well? So it's great that you're doing that. Seth, I have to say, you have a bright future ahead of you. I know you're only 14.
I know, right?
But what do you want to do?
Probably become like a comic book illustrator, probably, but also mix it with cartoony sense in a way. I think that'd be a fun, like, twist nobody's really done before yet. So
Seth, are you a comic book junkie?
Kind of, yeah.
Who's that? So my husband is. We bought our house based on needing enough space for his comic book collection. So
Oh,
who's your
yeah.
favorite character?
Probably just Spider-Man. Spider-Man's pretty good.
He has a whole mural in his room of his cartooning and characters that he's come up with himself, just original ones. And he won't talk about it, so I will. But he has some amazing art already that he's done, and you'll be hearing more from him for sure. In fact, he's like 3 more years of high school, so I kind of have a few more books and
Kind of
thinking about here.
But Seth, what did you learn from this process?
I learned that, man, what did I learn? I think I learned that helping kids in a way is probably the most important thing in this process. And it was really fun going back to the mind of a child to make it all.
But yeah, all like what, like 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
See, she said that. I didn't.
Yeah. It was a very fun process.
That is it's so great. How long have you been drawing, Seth?
Probably since I was a kid. I've kind of just been doing chicken scratches when I was a kid, but now it's made this, so.
Well, he had his art displayed in the, was it the Lansing?
Yeah.
What was it?
I think it was something Lansing Arch.
Lansing Arts Council or show. And he's won local art contests that were against people much older than him, and he's just got it. He's really got it. And especially to step up to this form of art that he wasn't comfortable with. And it was at the beginning of the virtual learning, so he kind of needed a challenge, something he could do, because he was finishing with his work really quickly, and so put him to work.
Well, the words are definitely needed, but I will say, as Seth, your drawings make it connect with the younger generation, and it makes the story pop as well. What a great teamwork. This is awesome. This is what our community is about, but also coming together in the middle of a pandemic and overcoming the challenges as well, because I'm sure both of you, just like the rest of the country, you've had challenges during this time.
Exactly. And this project really helped me get through it. I know that. I have 3 20-something children at home working remotely or going to school, but having this project has been incredible for me.
So, hey, Pam, where can people find the book and where can they order it?
Okay. You can get it on eBay now. Like I said, you can go to my Facebook page, Pam Ostrander LLC. There's an order form. You can even scan a QR code and order form pops up. Or you can go to you guys are in Oakland County, but there's a store in downtown Williamston that sells it. And soon it's going to be in all the Sparrow health centers, gift shops.
Oh,
I just
so perfect.
Yesterday. So even though people can't go in the hospitals very much right now, a lot of the healthcare workers will be able to see it and use it with their own children. So I'm excited about that.
That is great. And you know what? The word is only going to continue to spread with this. Etsy might be another good form for you to post it on. Did you have to self-publish this book? And what was that process?
Yes, because the process of going through the traditional way to do it, it takes so long. And it wasn't about the money from the beginning. In fact, along the way, I paid him in chocolate chip cookies and Subway cards and can of Coke. I'm able to pay him now, but it's definitely not a money-making deal, but it's very satisfying and worth every bit of what we've gone through.
It's a project from the heart. And so I'm thinking, Seth, when she says, here's some more chocolate chip cookies, you're like, oh.
I'm like, well, it is good. It is a good reward for me, but I wasn't really thinking of getting money at all. But I'm glad I got something in the end. And those chocolate chip cookies were good. I will have to say.
But Seth, at 14, to be able to say, I am a published illustrator, that has to sound really good.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, they started in-person learning and he had high school orientation in the morning. Came home. Half hour later, he was being interviewed by Channel 10 for illustrating his book. All before his driver's license.
Take that, my fellow students, right?
Yes. People talk about kids these days. Well, kids these days are pretty cool.
They are. And you know what, Seth, follow your passion. Art is, for us that draws stick figures, we definitely envy people such as yourself. So you took your teacher's words and you brought them to life. You have a lot to be proud of, and at only 14 years of age. So we wish you the best in your future.
Thank you, Ronnie, for having us on. We really appreciate it. And getting the word out I'm very thankful for that.
No, we're happy to share the word. And again, thank you for having the passion to do this, but also, you know, it can be a frustrating process to get the book published, but you did it, and you did it in a timely fashion, and to which the words, sadly, are still so needed, because I think even 10 months into this plus, it's almost even more frustrating for some of us, right?
And with the book, it'll help normalize masks for kids too. You know, if the doll in the book is wearing it and the kid in the book is wearing it, it's not that unusual anymore, and you know, they can identify with it.
Well, again, the book is called A Mask for Molly. Pam and Seth, we so appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Ronnie.
Thank you.